Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's video is another current state of Deadlock video for October 2025. Yes, it has been a few months since I've done a current state video, or even a video in general. I've been a bit busy to make a video at the moment, but also the fact that usually Deadlock is still chugging along in development, which we'll talk about, of course, and we'll talk about the effects of the major update that happened in August, the 6 new heroes and whatnot, and what we can expect from the next major update. But it's just sort of every sort of month they do like a balance patch, you know, 1 or 2 maybe. But other than that, really, other than just going through the general patch notes, there isn't much else to talk about. So maybe if I can do it every other month, and maybe, or whenever a major update comes out. They seem to come out every 3 months or so, or whatever. Of course, we had the one in August, and we'll talk about the one that may arrive at the end of this year. So first off, though, we're going to be talking about the impact the new heroes have had on the game. So of course, in August 18th to be exact, 6 new heroes got added. I did make a video talking about the update and whatnot. That was, I think, around the time Billy was coming out page. I don't think all of them were out yet, whatnot. But it was just talking about how cool the update was and how aesthetically that patch is really, really good. And I think it was a great patch. I think it's probably definitely the best of the 3 that have come out this year. Maybe look forward to an actual sort of a ranking or an actual analysis and discussion of which update of this year has pushed the game further in terms of like development and whatnot. Of course, we still got potentially another one this year, so I'll hold off until that comes out. But you know, that's probably in December as well. But maybe late December or something, or in January, we can go over each of the updates that came in 2025, and we can review Deadlock in 2025 as a whole. So with these new heroes, of course, overall, very good impact in terms of what they have brought to the table, and you know how people play them and what they can do. Let's start off with Mina. We're going to start off in the, I guess, with the order that they released in. So Mina came out first. She has been a very good carry character. I don't think she hit the heights of like Infernus, Wraith, and Haze maybe, or Seven. In some regards, yes, I would say so. She's been quite a popular pick. She's, you know, mainly because of the character design as well, but she is very strong. Of course, early on people did struggle a bit because she was didn't have that much health, whatnot. But as people got used to her, and you know, as builds came out for her, she's been very good. They also buffed her at one point where they made her passive like trigger faster. It required less bullets to trigger, and she's been a very strong laner as well. So she's been a strong laner. She can farm pretty well. She can do a lot of damage. She had a point where she was had a very strong thing with her, with her ultimate. If you max your ultimate and you got like Spirit Burn, you could just nuke objectives. Like Walkers, the Patron, mid boss as well, would just crumble and just fall over basically if you ulted it with Mina. They sort of then nerfed her ultimate, so that's not really as possible no more. She can still do a lot of damage, but she can't, you know, 100 to 0 them with just her ultimate now. Or whatnot, sort of early on in the game maybe, or just once you max those out and max your ult out and get Spirit Burn. So she's been overall pretty good. She's not been annoying to play against. She's fun to play and she's not annoying to go against, so I'd say she's a pretty good addition to the game. I do enjoy Mina quite a lot. Next we have Billy. Billy is a bit of a weird one. I don't currently at the current time I don't see Billy much. Or whatnot. I rarely see him. He's probably next to Drifter at the moment, I would say, in terms of how often I see him. Maybe even less so. He might be the least played of the new ones. You know, that could also be Paige or Drifter. Victor has his own things at the moment, but yeah, I don't see him that much. But he can be decent. He can be a decent like frontline brawler character. He can have a lot of health, and he can also output a lot of damage. His ult's amazing as well. It's great crowd control. as a stun or whatever. But I can see a lot of Billies. When I see a lot of Billies, they usually kind of get rolled sometimes, and I'm not sure why. I see a lot of Billy players just straight up go like, maybe they just kind of try to build damage but then don't build in tankiness, and they kind of just die and they just get CC'd and die. Or they try to 1v1 people, even though, I mean, you can do that as Billy, but it's a bit hard. I don't know, he's a bit rough in terms of where he's at the moment, but I still think he's a good addition. Another frontliner, so can be along the sides of Abrams, Shiv, or whatnot, is good. But there is a better hero that came out that does frontline tanking even better and is way stronger. So the next came out was Doorman. Doorman, I think, is probably one of the most balanced characters in the game. At least, well, I don't want to say that. I mean, for the most part, he is pretty balanced. I wouldn't say he's the most balanced. I would probably maybe say Dynamo, actually. But, you know, that's maybe debatable depending on your rank and stuff. But Doorman, I think his kit, though, is really good. Definitely the doors are super cool. They just added literally portal into Deadlock, which is really cool. His cool bell is quite, you know, does a lot of damage as and whatnot. His cart can be kind of annoying with its stun, and if you get echo shot on, you could just do 2 stuns and push people away or whatnot. And his ultimate, the hotel guest, is also really cool, and it's quite strong. So overall, yeah, Doorman is very good. I haven't really played him much, but he is a cool character. You know, he is a cool character, and I think definitely a worthy addition to the games. Next was Paige, support hero, which people like to build gun on, even though she has probably one of the worst guns in the game due to her velocity, her bullet velocity. But she's a strong support character, but she kind of, like, if you go full support, then you're going to need to use your abilities, like, constantly. Like, you're going to need, like, cooldown. It's because her gun won't do much unless you build everything into your gun, so, yeah. But she is cool. Another support, her ult's very strong. The massive stun, it's like a global, it goes all the way across the map, which can be pretty cool. You don't really get that often, but there have been clips of people using it across the map and whatnot, which is cool. Definitely a good addition to the support character roster, as the game didn't really have that many. You sort of had, you know, Dynamo, McGuinness, Kelvin. He's a problem at the moment. Viscous to some degree. So it'd have been nice to have like another type of support character. This one like a focus around shielding, like whereas others have like healing. With Dynamo, McGuinness, Kelvin, of course. Paige involves giving shields to herself or her teammates. So, pretty cool addition to the game. Definitely, it is good to have another support in the game for people to try out. And she's fairly popular for the most part. I think I do see her. I think I see her, like I said, more than Billy at the moment. So, then after that we have Drifter. Drifter is a weird case where at launch, when he released, he was quite strong, maybe because people probably didn't know how to play against him or whatever, but he is very much a 1v1 hero, or 2v1 or 3v1, you know. As long as the one is the enemy, right? As long as the one is the enemy, Drifter will excel in those scenarios, because he has a passive which gives him bonus damage against solo targets. However, if he's in a team, like if there's multiple people, he doesn't get that passive at all, which kind of does suck, and it does definitely take a bit of time for Drifter to come online, and then you've got to play smart and whatnot, and take your fights carefully, and roam and gank. smart as well to actually get the best out of Drifter. But in terms of high level play, I would say Drifter does not work because a lot of people like to use comms, they want microphones and stuff, and communicate with the teammates. So if they say, oh, Drifter's over here, okay, someone's going to come over, and then his entire like benefits of 1v1ing is just gone because it's only on isolated targets. So he's a bit of a strange character. He's fun and he's cool, but he definitely suffers a little bit because he can kind of just not do anything. In certain scenarios, if he's not like equal or ahead and isn't taking 1v1s, even like in big team fights towards the end where everyone is grouped up, by that time he should have at least a decent amount of damage to do stuff in a team fight, right? But he should sort of early to mid game try to at least get those 1v1s. If you don't get those, then he does suffer much more. So that's a very cool character, but he does suffer from his kit, sadly. And then on to Victor. Personally, I love Victor. I love tank characters. You know, of course, I did main Abrams towards when I first started playing and whatnot. Victor, I'd say, is my new main, probably alongside 7. I haven't been playing 7 much, but you know, maybe pick him up again with some changes in here and there. But Victor has been my new favorite character. Is it because he's been insanely strong? A little bit, but it's also because I like that tank runner you gotta focus on me playstyle, right? And that's exactly what Victor does. Like, he just runs at people with his aura on, and either you kill him fast somehow, or he kills you, and that's very fun for me, right? Of course, he's had a very much a tumultuous time in balance since his release. When he came out, very strong. He literally got nerfed within a couple hours of him releasing back in August, to where he was like kind of meh, and then they sort of buffed him up a little bit again. It was a bit too good, so they nerfed him down again, and they nerfed one of the core things where spirit resist doesn't affect, doesn't like reduce the self damage, but they reduce the self damage normally, and other things like that. But he's been in like an up and down state of balance. Currently, he's still very strong, just because he can survive for so long. I mean, that's his entire character. You can't kill him easy, because he has healing on his 2 that can also debuff, you know, remove debuffs. His 1 when it's max can heal him. His ult literally gives him a revive, so he has somewhat of a rejuve mechanic that's built in his kit. So he is a strong. Like, if he gets ahead, Victor can become quite unkillable. Not as unkillable as before, but definitely still very difficult to take out. Especially with Rejuve as well, and his ult up, you've got to kill him 3 times. God help you if he gets fed enough and decides to buy Refresher for some reason. I did that one game. I literally went into the base with my team towards the end, and I died 3 times, and I'm still up and still fighting against the patron. So Victor has probably been the strongest in terms of the peak of how strong he is, but he's also been the weakest at the lowest, so his balance is definitely all over the place. But I do love Victor as a tank. It will take some time, I think, for them to figure out what you know, how he can be balanced, but maybe his kit can't be. He's maybe one of those heroes or whatnot, maybe similar to Shiv, where his balance is all over the place. He's either too strong or too weak, or whatnot. But overall, like I said, new hero's been introduced, fantastic addition. You know, expanding the roster is always going to be a great thing. Of course, we got 4 heroes in January as well, so we got 10 new heroes this year. So definitely that has expanded the roster drastically, and it's great to get new options to play as, even play against. You know, it does. Even if you can't play the hero, right, or whatnot, then it's still something to play against. Like, how do you deal with this character? It does introduce new gameplay regardless, even if you're not playing them. But yeah, heroes great addition. There's the hideout. Instead of like just a normal main menu, you have a hideout where you can spawn in, you move about, and whatnot. And it has the shop, and it has like an Abrams bot and an Infernus bot. Like sort of a small version of the sandbox mode. The sandbox mode is still there, where you can still spawn bots and change parameters, and like, you know, you can give yourself max level, or, you know, flex slots or anything like that. You know, there's a bit more going on in the sandbox mode. But you can now do that directly in the hideout, which is nice if you want to test out a certain item or a hero and see their abilities and stuff. Very good addition, and I think the potential is definitely there in the future. You can have, you know, a whole achievement shelf, and there's a thing up the stairs with like a trophy cabinet that can show off your achievements that they have in the game, or your accolades and things like that. I'm sure they'll introduce a shop here or in there somewhere where you can buy skins eventually. But yeah, hideout is great as well. Visually as well, the map was very, very good. Visually, like, even though it's supposed to be like sunset, it feels like nighttime. It feels like it's actually like night in the city when you're in the map, which I prefer. I prefer it being like more of the nighttime. It fits the aesthetic, you know, the occult aesthetic much more. This sort of dusky sunset, almost nighttime, with the lights on and everything aesthetic, rather than like the daytime of before. So very much I enjoy the visual aspects. Of course, the base got visually changed as well and whatnot. So yeah, the August update I think is very, very good. With that, let's talk about the next content update coming for Deadlock, the next major one. So of course, after the August one, August went by and each of the heroes released. September went by and I think we got a patch, some balance patch as well, and October has gone by as well with another balance patch as well. And people are thinking and asking whether a Halloween update was in the works or coming soon. Right? Valve does like their Halloween stuff. TF2 does have a Halloween update, and I'm sure maybe Dota has one. I don't keep up to date with Dota, play it. But of course TF2 has one. So would Deadlock have a Halloween update? And they did something small last year where they had masks on the heroes, and as well they had the boxes around the map turn into pumpkins. So someone asked Yoshi on the Discord, should we expect a Halloween update? And his response was, we've been focusing on production for the next major update, so we haven't had time to do anything special for Halloween. We are hoping to have that content update ready sometime in December, but we'll let you know when we are more sure, depending on how development plays out. That being said, in the next few days we are re-adding the masks / pumpkins etc. from last year, which of course came with the update, the balance update, which came a few days ago and stuff, the masks and pumpkins. But they are planning to have another content update in December. Of course, there's no actual details on what the update will be. Of course, there will be a surprise for when it comes out. But there was rumours that the next major update would come in January rather than the end of this year. But of course, that still is possible, because he does say we'll let you know when we're more sure, depending on development goes out. If it's not fully completed, we may delay it to January potentially, but they're hoping to aim for December update. So it'll probably be like maybe early to mid December. I don't think they'll maybe do late, like around Christmas Day. They'll maybe be on break then and whatnot, but we'll see. Depends if the development goes well. If not, it'll be sometime in January. So we do have to go through the rest of November. Of course, so we got, you know, it seems gone pretty fast, the gap between these updates so far. Like we went through, it was, you know, halfway through August, and September. We've already been through September and October, and yet we just have one more month, and then potentially we're in the patch month again. So it feels different, mainly because I think the 6 new heroes, one, they were sort of slowly released across 2 weeks, and heroes are substantially more content than like new items from the shop update prior. Right, the wait between the shop update and the 6 heroes was quite a long wait, even though it is it was a 3.5 month gap. Right, and potentially for this major update we could be seeing about like 4 months update, 4 months gap between these updates. However, it's felt less so because, like I said, these new heroes are much more impactful in terms of what you can learn each of these new heroes more than just we revamp the shop and stuff like that. So which is cool. What am I saying? But it's cool that, of course, the at least the update is more content to go over than the shop one, at least. If you get what I'm saying, right? I'm kind of just waffling at that moment, but we'll see about that. But what could be in the December update or the January update? So the next one, right? Well, we could potentially, this is just guess and speculation based on previous rumors and leaks and stuff, we could have something similar to the 6 Heroes update, right? The August one, where there's a few more heroes that were leaked that did not come out, of course. We had Boho and Priest, who has been leaked to have a different name, called Venador now. Plus there was also Skyrunner and Swan from the character leak months ago. So those 4 didn't arrive in the August update, and of course we saw leaks for Priest and Boho in terms of their abilities. Of course, Skyrunner and Swan were in the game and you could use the console, and they did have some abilities or whatnot. So it's potential they could arrive in the next update or whatnot, and maybe they flesh out. Of course, they'll do more map updates. Pretty much every single update they're going to be doing is like some kind of map update visually, I would say. So of course we had Yellow Lane turn into like a boat shipyard, like a dock area, and of course the Amber Hand base got updated. So maybe in the December update we get the Sapphire Flame base update and the Greenwich one, because Greenwich did get updated before, but that was last year, but it isn't really up to the date of the current state. Like Broadway did get updated with the shop update, they did get some like billboards and look much nicer and whatnot. And of course then York got changed in the August update. So it's up for Park and the Sapphire base to get a visual update regarding the map. I'm hoping as well, is one thing I have wanted, and I think I will want, is a jungle update. In that I hope they of course change the models for the jungle camps, right? Instead of the alien things, and mid-boss gets an actual model rather than the weird slug looking creature that we have as mid-boss right now. Of course, and additions to jungle, another objectives for teams to fight over, to help you get back into the game, or help continue your lead or whatever, or some kind of other jungle camps and activities that you can do, because the jungle is very simple, right? Of course you have boxes and whatnot, but you just have camps, and the camps all act the same. They just, like, depending on the color, like if it's green, yellow or red, camps, it's just they have more health and maybe do more damage. There's like actual kind of different abilities or anything like that. They're not really unique. So I'm hoping that they do update the jungle at some point. It might take its whole major update rather than be bundled with something else. So yeah, that's my prediction for, I think, what the December update will be. I think it'll just be more of the same with August, but closer to time with potential leaks, and when it releases we'll see what they have been working on. Of course there's also leaks and rumors of an ARAM game mode in development, which probably might come out next year if they're going to test it, but we'll see. We don't know. That's all guessing and theories. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. me talking about the August update and how Deadlock is currently right now. I think it's in a decent spot right now. I think balance is a bit weak at the moment. Certain characters have been pretty strong. Infernus, Victor, Kelvin have been the big outliers in terms of how strong they are across the game and whatnot. So, and even recent balance changes haven't really toned them down. I still think they're pretty strong. So, in terms of balance, the game is not in the greatest state, but I think the content, of course, that was added recently, and still anything coming up is something to look forward to. So, balance is temporary, but content updates are forever, essentially. If that makes sense, right? So the heroes that will be added or visual updates then are more likely to be permanent than the current balance and meta of the game. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. I might do, still potentially look out for another more commentary videos or gameplay videos in the future, of course. Whether they'll be as frequent, we'll see, or whatnot, but regardless, I appreciate you all for watching, and thank you and goodbye.